Number 1. 1968 Ford Fairlane, offered at $7,000 and currently located in Franklin, Wisconsin. In my opinion, this 1968 Ford Fairlane could be one of the more interesting budget-friendly classics currently on the market. While it may not be a fully restored show car, it appears to offer a solid foundation for someone looking to enter the classic car hobby without spending a fortune. What immediately catches my attention is the 302 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. The 302 has long been one of Ford's most respected small block engines thanks to its reliability, parts availability, and ease of maintenance. For many enthusiasts, it's a practical engine that provides enough power for enjoyable cruising while remaining relatively affordable to maintain. The red exterior combined with a matching red interior gives the car a distinctly late 1960s personality. In my opinion, color combinations like this help a classic stand out because they capture the style and attitude of the era in a way that modern vehicles simply can't replicate. The seller is straightforward in mentioning that the car still needs some TLC. Personally, I see that honesty as a positive. Rather than presenting the Fairlane as a flawless vehicle, the listing acknowledges that there are still a few things left for the next owner to address. For buyers who enjoy working on classic cars, that can actually be part of the fun. Another detail I find encouraging is that the car runs and drives. When shopping for affordable classics, there's a huge difference between a project that needs to be transported home on a trailer and a vehicle that can already move under its own power. A running and driving car often makes the restoration journey much easier and more enjoyable. The inclusion of a brand new headliner and additional spare parts in the trunk is also a nice bonus. Those extras may help reduce future restoration costs while showing that the owner has already begun addressing some of the car's needs. What stands out most to me is the overall value proposition. At this price point, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a V8 powered American classic with a clean title that already runs and drives. That alone makes this Fairlane worthy of consideration for someone seeking an affordable entry into vintage Ford ownership. Overall, my opinion is that this 1968 Ford Fairlane has the potential to be an enjoyable weekend cruiser or light restoration project. With its dependable 302 V8, attractive color combination, running condition, and reasonable asking price, it appears to offer a lot of classic car enjoyment for relatively modest money. Number 2. 1973 Ford LTD, offered at $8,500 and currently located in Monroe, Michigan. In my opinion, this 1973 Ford LTD appears to be an affordable and potentially overlooked classic that could appeal to enthusiasts who appreciate full-size American luxury cars from the early 1970s. While vehicles like Mustangs, Camaros, and Chevelles often dominate the collector market, large personal and family cruisers such as the LTD offer a completely different ownership experience centered around comfort, style, and relaxed driving. One of the first things that stands out is the reported mileage of just 49,900 miles. While the actual mileage should always be verified when possible, a lower mileage example can be especially appealing on a vehicle of this age. If accurate, it may help explain why the seller describes the car as being in great shape for its year. The yellow exterior paired with a matching yellow interior is a very period-correct color combination that immediately captures the spirit of the 1970s. Cars from this era were often ordered in bold colors that are rarely seen on modern vehicles, and that uniqueness can be part of their charm today. For buyers who enjoy authentic vintage styling, this LTD could stand out at local cruise nights and classic car events. Another positive factor is the seller's straightforward description. Rather than claiming the car is perfect, the seller openly mentions a power steering leak. That level of honesty is generally encouraging because it allows potential buyers to understand at least one known issue before making contact. In many cases, power steering leaks on older vehicles can be traced to hoses, seals, or steering components that may be reparable without excessive expense, although a proper inspection would be necessary to determine the exact cause. As a full-size Ford, the LTD was designed with comfort in mind. These cars were known for their spacious interiors, smooth ride quality, and effortless highway cruising. For collectors who enjoy taking their classics on longer drives rather than simply displaying them, an LTD can offer a surprisingly enjoyable experience. The automatic transmission further supports the car's easygoing character and makes it accessible to a wide range of drivers. At an asking price of $8,500, this Ford appears to be positioned at an attractive entry point into the classic car hobby. Finding a complete, running, and reportedly well-preserved full-size American classic for under 5 figures has become increasingly difficult in today's market. Even though the car may require some attention to the power steering system, the overall asking price seems reasonable if the body, frame, and interior are in the condition suggested by the seller. Overall, I think this 1973 Ford LTD could be a solid choice for someone looking for a comfortable, distinctive, and affordable classic American cruiser. It may not have the performance image of a muscle car, but its low reported mileage, vintage styling, and apparent originality give it a unique appeal. If the vehicle proves to be structurally sound and well-maintained beyond the disclosed steering issue, it could represent a very good value for enthusiasts who appreciate full-size classics from the golden age of American automobiles. Number 3. 1973 Dodge Challenger Rally, offered at $47,000 and currently located in Westland, Michigan. In my opinion, this 1973 Dodge Challenger Rally represents an attractive opportunity for buyers who want the unmistakable look of a classic Mopar e-body without paying the much higher prices often associated with 1970 and 1971 models. While the early Challengers typically receive the most attention from collectors, the 1973 Rally models have developed a strong following of their own thanks to their aggressive styling, drivability, and relative affordability. The first thing that grabs my attention is the plum-crazy purple exterior. Few colors are as closely associated with the muscle car era as this legendary Mopar shade. In my opinion, a Challenger looks right at home in plum-crazy, and it remains one of the most desirable colors among Mopar enthusiasts. Combined with the contrasting white interior, the car likely has tremendous visual impact both at local shows and on the road. Under the hood is a 340 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. The seller notes that the engine has received a mild build, which suggests additional performance beyond stock specifications while maintaining street-friendly manners. The 340 has long been regarded as one of Chrysler's best small-block engines, known for its willingness to rev and its excellent balance of power and reliability. For many enthusiasts, a healthy 340 provides all the performance needed for enjoyable cruising and spirited driving. Another positive feature is the presence of a sure grip rear axle. Having a limited slip differential is a major advantage in a muscle car because it improves traction and helps put power to the pavement more effectively. It is one of those features that enthusiasts always appreciate, whether the car is driven casually or more aggressively. One detail I particularly like is the fact that the car retains functional air conditioning and heat. Many classic muscle cars either never had air conditioning or lost it during previous modifications. The seller states that both systems work well with cold air conditioning and strong heat. In my opinion, this significantly increases the enjoyment and usability of the car, especially for owners who intend to drive it regularly rather than simply display it. The Flowmaster exhaust system is another appealing touch. A Challenger should sound like a muscle car, and Flowmasters are known for delivering the deep, aggressive exhaust note that many owners desire without being overly excessive. The combination of a mildly built 340 and a performance exhaust likely gives this car a very satisfying personality. The seller also mentions that the vehicle was painted about a year ago and is rust-free. Rust is often one of the biggest concerns with vintage Mopars, so the claim of a rust-free body is encouraging. A relatively recent repaint can also mean the car presents well visually and requires less immediate cosmetic attention from the next owner. An additional bonus is the option of choosing between the current wheels or the factory-style rally wheels. Having both choices allows the buyer to tailor the car's appearance to their personal preference. Some enthusiasts prefer the classic factory look, while others enjoy a slightly more customized appearance. The seller openly states that the car is not numbers matching. While that may reduce its appeal to purist collectors, I do not necessarily view it as a negative for someone seeking a driver-quality muscle car. In fact, many enthusiasts are more concerned with condition, performance, and enjoyment than matching serial numbers. The money saved compared to a fully numbers-matching example can often be put toward driving and enjoying the vehicle. At $47,000, this Challenger sits in a competitive segment of the classic muscle car market. Considering the desirable rally package, 340 V8, sure grip rear end, functioning air conditioning, recent paintwork, rust-free condition, and iconic plum-crazy color, the asking price appears understandable in today's Mopar market. Overall, my opinion is that this 1973 Dodge Challenger Rally offers a compelling blend of muscle car style, drivability, and visual presence. The plum-crazy purple paint, white interior, mildly built 340, working A, C, and rust-free body create a package that is likely to attract attention wherever it goes. For buyers who want an e-body Challenger they can drive and enjoy without the six-figure price tags attached to some earlier models, this example appears to be a very appealing choice. Number 4. 1965 Ford Galaxy 500 Convertible, offered at $23,900 and currently located in Arlington Heights, Illinois. From my perspective, this is exactly the kind of classic American convertible that was built for relaxed summer cruising. The 1965 Ford Galaxy 500 combines full-size comfort, timeless styling, and open-top enjoyment in a package that remains surprisingly attainable compared to many other collectible classics. The first thing that caught my attention is the asking price. At $23,900, this Galaxy sits below the price range of many restored muscle cars and performance convertibles, yet it still offers the same ability to turn heads and create a memorable driving experience. Personally, I think full-size convertibles like this are often overlooked in today's market. What I like most about the Galaxy is its presence. Ford's 1965 styling featured clean lines, a long body, and a confident stance that still looks impressive decades later. With the top down and that bright red exterior shining in the sun, I imagine this car attracts attention wherever it goes. The red exterior paired with a black interior is another strong point in my opinion. It's a classic combination that never really goes out of style. The contrast between the two colors gives the car a sporty yet elegant appearance that suits the era perfectly. According to the seller, the vehicle runs and drives great, and the overall condition appears to be very clean inside and out. While any classic car should always be inspected in person, those are encouraging signs for buyers looking for a vehicle they can enjoy immediately rather than spend months restoring. I also appreciate the mention of good paint and chrome. On a convertible from the 1960s, exterior presentation plays a huge role in overall appeal. Bright chrome trim and a clean finish help showcase the long, flowing body lines that made these cars so popular when they were new. The addition of dual exhaust is another feature that stands out to me. While the seller doesn't specify the engine, dual exhaust systems often enhance both the sound and character of a classic Ford. Personally, I think a full-size convertible should have a smooth V8 rumble to match its cruising personality. The 15-inch Craigar wheels are also a nice touch. They're a period-correct upgrade that has been popular among enthusiasts for decades. In my opinion, they add just enough muscle car attitude without taking away from the car's classic appearance. Comfort features such as power steering and a power convertible top are especially appealing. These options make a noticeable difference when driving and enjoying the car. Raising or lowering the top becomes effortless, and power steering helps make the Galaxy's size feel much more manageable on the road. Another detail worth noting is the reported 50,000 miles. While mileage claims on classics should always be verified independently, lower mileage examples are often attractive to enthusiasts because they suggest less wear over the vehicle's lifetime. What I find particularly appealing about this Galaxy is that it seems to focus on enjoyment rather than performance. Not every classic car needs to be a high-horsepower muscle machine. Sometimes the best driving experiences come from simply lowering the top, turning on some music, and enjoying a scenic road on a sunny day. At its current price, I think this convertible offers a lot of classic car experience for the money. You're getting vintage Ford styling, open-air driving, desirable comfort options, and a vehicle that appears ready to be enjoyed right away. Overall, my opinion is that this 1965 Ford Galaxy 500 convertible represents a very appealing classic cruiser. It combines attractive styling, practical features, and the timeless appeal of a full-size American convertible in a package that remains accessible compared to many other collector vehicles. For anyone looking for a comfortable and eye-catching summer classic, this Galaxy appears to be a strong candidate that delivers both nostalgia and driving enjoyment. Number 5. This 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS clone, listed at $37,500 and located in Macomb, Michigan, is a beautifully presented first-generation Camaro that combines iconic muscle car styling with a dependable street-friendly drivetrain. Finished in its original butternut yellow exterior over a black deluxe interior, this Camaro captures the unmistakable look and attitude that made the 1969 model one of the most sought-after classic American performance cars ever produced. In my opinion, one of the biggest strengths of this car is that it appears to have been built with drivability in mind. While it is an SS clone rather than a factory super sport, the combination of a nicely built 327 cubic inch V8 and a turbo 350 automatic transmission creates a package that is both enjoyable and practical. Rather than being an overly aggressive race-oriented build, it sounds like a car that can be driven regularly and appreciated on the open road. The 327 small-block Chevrolet engine has long been respected for its willingness to rev and its balanced performance characteristics. In my opinion, it remains one of the most enjoyable engines Chevrolet ever produced, offering plenty of power while maintaining excellent reliability. Paired with headers and a full Flowmaster exhaust system, this Camaro likely delivers the kind of deep, unmistakable V8 sound that enthusiasts love to hear. The seller describes the body and undercarriage as rock solid, which is a major advantage for any 1969 Camaro. Rust repair on first-generation F-body cars can become expensive very quickly, so finding an example with a solid foundation is always a significant plus. From my perspective, a solid body is often more important than cosmetic perfection because it provides a strong base for long-term ownership. Another highlight is the paint and presentation. The butternut yellow finish is reported to be straight, glossy, and in very good condition. In my opinion, this color perfectly suits the Camaro's muscular lines and helps the car stand out from the more common reds, blacks, and blues seen at many car shows. It gives the vehicle a unique personality while remaining period correct. The deluxe black interior is another appealing feature. According to the seller, it remains in very nice condition and all systems are reported to function properly. For a classic car, having everything operational adds a level of enjoyment that cannot always be taken for granted. A well-maintained interior also reflects the overall care the vehicle has received throughout its life. I also appreciate the fact that the chrome, trim, and glass are described as being in excellent condition. These details are often overlooked, yet they contribute greatly to a car's overall presentation. On a 1969 Camaro, clean brightwork and clear glass help create the polished appearance that collectors and enthusiasts appreciate. The inclusion of power steering is another practical advantage. While the car does not have power brakes, the steering assistance should make low-speed maneuvering and everyday driving more comfortable. In my opinion, that helps reinforce the seller's description of the car as a dependable and enjoyable cruiser. What stands out most to me is the seller's emphasis on reliability and fun. Many classic muscle cars are powerful but require constant attention. This Camaro, however, is presented as a vehicle that starts, drives, and performs consistently, making it ideal for cruise nights, weekend road trips, and local car events. In my opinion, this 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS clone offers an excellent balance of style, performance, and usability. With its solid body, attractive original color, strong-running 327 V8, deluxe interior, and dependable road manners, it captures much of what enthusiasts love about the first-generation Camaro. Whether admired for its appearance, its sound, or its driving experience, this Camaro represents a classic American muscle car that is ready to be enjoyed. Number 6. 1958 Ford Thunderbird Convertible, offered at $29,950 and currently located in Smithville, Missouri. In my opinion, this 1958 Ford Thunderbird Convertible represents one of the most elegant American cars of the late 1950s. The second-generation Thunderbird marked a major shift from the original two-seat design, transforming the car into a more luxurious personal cruiser while still maintaining the style and prestige that made the Thunderbird name famous. The first thing that catches my attention is the classic black exterior paired with a white interior and matching white power retractable soft top. That's a timeless combination that perfectly complements the dramatic styling of the late 1950s. Even today, a color scheme like this gives the car a sophisticated look that never seems to go out of fashion. Under the hood sits Ford's 352 cubic inch V8 connected to a 3-speed automatic transmission. In my opinion, this is exactly the kind of drivetrain that suits a Thunderbird. It's not necessarily about raw speed, it's about smooth power delivery, comfortable cruising, and enjoying the experience of driving a luxury car from one of America's most stylish automotive eras. One feature I particularly like is the power retractable convertible top. During the late 1950s, power-operated luxury features were still considered premium equipment, and having a functioning retractable top remains one of the most desirable characteristics of a classic Thunderbird convertible today. The seller also notes that the car has benefited from several important mechanical updates. Recent work includes rebuilding the carburetor and replacing the fuel tank, fuel pump, fuel filter, exhaust manifolds, and engine mounts. In my opinion, these are the kinds of maintenance items that can significantly improve reliability and drivability, making the car easier to enjoy on a regular basis. Additional features such as power steering, power windows, dual exhaust, and front bucket seats further reinforce the Thunderbird's reputation as a personal luxury car. These options helped distinguish the model from ordinary family sedans and continue to add to its appeal among collectors. What stands out most to me is that this Thunderbird appears to have been preserved and cared for rather than neglected. The seller mentions that it has always been garage kept, and the relatively low mileage combined with the recent maintenance suggests a car that has been enjoyed responsibly over the years. Overall, my opinion is that this 1958 Ford Thunderbird convertible offers a wonderful blend of classic styling, V8 power, luxury features, and open-top motoring. For someone looking to own a recognizable piece of 1950s American automotive history, this Thunderbird appears to be the kind of car that can provide both pride of ownership and enjoyable weekend cruising for years to come. Number 7. 1965 Ford Mustang Coupe, offered at $16,000 and currently located in Hobart, Indiana. In my opinion, this 1965 Ford Mustang appears to be a practical and honest driver's classic rather than a fully restored show car, and that may actually make it more appealing to a certain group of buyers. The seller is refreshingly straightforward about the car's condition, acknowledging both its strengths and imperfections. For many enthusiasts, that kind of transparency is a positive sign when shopping for a vintage vehicle. Originally built as a 6-cylinder, manual transmission Mustang, the car has since been upgraded with a 302 cubic inch V8 and an AOD overdrive automatic transmission. This combination is a popular modification among Mustang owners because it provides significantly more power than the original drivetrain while also improving highway drivability. The overdrive transmission allows the engine to run at lower RPMs during cruising, making the car more comfortable for longer trips and regular use. One of the most encouraging details is that the seller regularly drives the car to work. Vehicles that are actively driven often benefit from more consistent maintenance than cars that spend most of their time sitting in storage. The seller also mentions a long list of new parts and a new 22-gallon fuel tank, suggesting that effort has been made to keep the car reliable and roadworthy. The car's history is another positive factor. According to the seller, it spent its entire life in Georgia before being brought to Indiana in 2021. Southern cars are often sought after because they tend to have less exposure to harsh winter conditions and road salt, which can contribute to rust. While a thorough inspection is always recommended, a Southern history is generally viewed as a favorable attribute for a classic Mustang. The addition of power front disc brakes is another worthwhile upgrade. Early Mustangs equipped with drum brakes can require more attention and longer stopping distances, so the conversion to front discs improves both safety and confidence behind the wheel. The car retains manual steering, which preserves the classic driving feel that many enthusiasts enjoy. The seller is also realistic about the cosmetic condition. The paint is described as an older amateur paint job that looks good from a distance but is not show quality. This honesty helps set expectations and suggests that the vehicle is intended to be enjoyed as a driver rather than judged at concours-level events. The fact that the original carpet and headliner remain in place may appeal to buyers who appreciate some degree of originality. At an asking price of $16,000, I think this Mustang occupies an interesting position in the market. First-generation Mustangs continue to be among the most popular classics in America, and finding a running, driving V8-powered example at this price point is becoming increasingly difficult. While it may not have the value of a factory V8 car or a professionally restored example, the upgrades and apparent usability help support the asking price. Overall, I believe this 1965 Mustang offers a lot of enjoyment for someone looking for a classic they can actually drive and use. It combines the timeless styling of the first-generation Mustang with practical upgrades that improve performance, braking, and highway comfort. If the body and structure are as solid as the Georgia history suggests, this could be an appealing option for buyers who want a dependable weekend cruiser rather than a trailer-only show car. Number 8. 1963 Oldsmobile Dynamic 88, offered at $12,500 and located in Muskegon, Michigan. In my opinion, this Dynamic 88 is a good example of an early 1960s full-size American cruiser that has been kept in a usable, mechanically refreshed condition without being fully restored. Cars like this sit in an interesting space in the collector market. They are often too old to be modern drivers, but not rare enough to command high restoration-level prices, which can make them appealing entry points into classic ownership. The first thing that stands out is the list of mechanical work already completed. New exhaust, new tires, a rebuilt carburetor, and a rebuilt power steering gearbox all suggest that the car has been actively maintained rather than left to deteriorate. In my opinion, this is one of the most important factors when evaluating a classic like this. Mechanical reliability is often more valuable than cosmetic perfection, especially for someone who actually wants to drive the car. The updated master cylinder and power brake booster are particularly important upgrades. Early 1960s cars, especially full-size models like the Dynamic 88, are heavy by modern standards. Improved braking components significantly enhance safety and drivability, making the car more manageable in modern traffic conditions. This is a practical upgrade that adds real value beyond aesthetics. The mention of very solid car with very minimal body rust is another encouraging point. While the listing does not claim a rust-free body, the wording suggests that structural integrity is still largely intact. In my opinion, solid body structure is one of the most expensive and difficult aspects of classic car restoration, so a car that avoids major rust issues is always worth closer attention. The interior condition is described as needing some work but still in good condition overall. This is fairly typical for cars of this era. Interior restoration can range from simple upholstery fixes to more complete dashboard and trim refurbishment, depending on how far the next owner wants to take it. The fact that it is still usable means the car can likely be driven and enjoyed while improvements are made gradually. From a driving perspective, the Dynamic 88 platform was known for its smooth, comfortable ride. Oldsmobile engineered these cars to emphasize comfort over performance, and in my opinion, that is still one of their most appealing characteristics today. They are the type of classic that feels relaxed and effortless on the road, especially compared to smaller, more performance-focused muscle cars. At $12,500, this Oldsmobile sits in the lower to mid-range of the classic car market. Considering the mechanical updates already completed and the generally solid condition described, the price appears reasonable for someone seeking a vintage cruiser rather than a fully restored showpiece. Overall, my opinion is that this 1963 Oldsmobile Dynamic 88 is a straightforward, honest driver-quality classic. It offers a combination of solid mechanical maintenance, usable condition, and classic early 1960s American styling. While it will likely require interior attention and ongoing upkeep typical of its age, it appears to be a dependable foundation for someone who wants an affordable, comfortable vintage cruiser with character and presence. Number 9. 1966 Ford Thunderbird, offered at $35,000 and currently located in Lee's Summit, Missouri. From my perspective, The 1966 Ford Thunderbird represents one of the most distinctive luxury coupes of the 1960s. While many enthusiasts immediately think of Mustangs when discussing classic Fords, the Thunderbird occupied a completely different role. It was designed as a personal luxury car, blending style, comfort, and V8-powered cruising into one sophisticated package. The first thing that caught my attention is the beautiful blue exterior paired with a black interior. In my opinion, this color combination works exceptionally well on a fourth-generation Thunderbird. The long body lines, hidden headlights, and elegant proportions already give the car tremendous visual presence, and the blue paint only enhances its classic appearance. Another detail worth noting is the reported 55,582 miles. While mileage should always be verified independently on any classic vehicle, lower mileage examples tend to attract additional interest because they often show less wear than many of their contemporaries. What makes the 1966 model particularly special to me is its styling. The hidden headlamp design remains one of the Thunderbird's most recognizable features. Even decades later, it gives the car a unique personality that separates it from virtually every other American automobile of the era. The seller describes the car as being in excellent condition, which is certainly encouraging. Although the listing is brief and doesn't provide extensive mechanical details, the fact that it is being offered through a dealership suggests that prospective buyers may have an opportunity to obtain additional documentation and information regarding its condition. Personally, I think the Thunderbird has always been somewhat underrated compared to more performance-focused classics. While muscle cars often dominate conversations and auction headlines, cars like the Thunderbird offer something different: comfort, elegance, and effortless cruising. They were built for long highway drives rather than quarter-mile times. The black interior should complement the exterior nicely and create a refined atmosphere inside the cabin. One of the things I appreciate about mid-1960s Thunderbirds is their unique dashboard design and aircraft-inspired styling cues, which help them stand out from other luxury cars of the period. At an asking price of $35,000, this Thunderbird occupies an interesting position in the classic car market. It's significantly less expensive than many high-end muscle cars from the same era, yet it still offers iconic styling, historical significance, and the ability to draw attention wherever it goes. What I personally find most appealing about a car like this is its versatility. It can fit comfortably into a collector's garage, attend local car shows, or simply serve as a weekend cruiser. Not every classic needs to be a high-horsepower performance machine to be enjoyable. The Thunderbird's reputation has always centered around comfort and presence, and this example appears to embody those qualities. The long hood, elegant roofline, and luxurious character make it one of the most recognizable personal luxury cars ever produced by Ford. Overall, my opinion is that this 1966 Ford Thunderbird appears to be an attractive example of one of Ford's most stylish classics. Between its reported low mileage, striking color combination, and timeless design, it offers the kind of vintage motoring experience that many enthusiasts appreciate. For someone looking for a classic American cruiser with elegance, comfort, and unmistakable 1960s character, this Thunderbird appears to be a compelling option that continues to showcase why the model remains so respected among collectors today. Number 10. This 1966 Ford Thunderbird, listed at $19,000 and located in Northlake, Illinois, is a remarkably preserved example of Ford's luxury personal coupe from the mid-1960s. Powered by a 390 cubic inch V8 and equipped with factory air conditioning, power windows, power door locks, and numerous original features, this Thunderbird appears to offer a blend of classic styling, comfort, and drivability that made the model famous during its era. In my opinion, one of the most attractive aspects of this car is its reported California history. The seller states that it is a rust-free California car that now resides in Illinois. For classic car enthusiasts, rust-free vehicles are always highly desirable because they often retain stronger body structures, cleaner undercarriages, and better long-term value than comparable cars from harsher climates. The 1966 model year is especially significant in Thunderbird history because it represents the final year of the fourth-generation design. Many enthusiasts consider these cars among the most elegant Thunderbirds ever built, featuring sleek body lines, hidden headlights, a long hood, and a luxurious interior that helped define the personal luxury car segment in America. Under the hood sits Ford's respected 390 V8, an engine known for smooth power delivery and effortless highway cruising. In my opinion, the 390 is perfectly suited to the Thunderbird's character. Rather than emphasizing raw performance, it provides the kind of quiet, confident power that makes long-distance driving enjoyable and relaxing. The seller notes that the car drives amazingly well and smoothly, with no leaks reported. That is particularly encouraging because many classic luxury cars can develop issues related to age, storage, or neglected maintenance. A vehicle that remains roadworthy and comfortable after nearly 6 decades is a testament to both the original engineering and the care it has received over the years. Another standout feature is the level of originality. According to the seller, the Thunderbird remains largely original, including its functioning AM radio and power antenna. In my opinion, preserving these factory details adds significant charm and authenticity to the ownership experience. Features like the original radio and power accessories help transport the driver back to the mid-1960s, offering a glimpse into what luxury motoring felt like during that period. The interior is described as mint, which is especially important in a car like this. Thunderbird interiors were designed to emphasize comfort and sophistication, and restoring them can be expensive and time-consuming. A well-preserved cabin greatly enhances both the value and appeal of the vehicle. Recent maintenance items, including a fresh oil change, new battery, new starter solenoid, fuel filter, and air filter, suggest that the car has been kept mechanically ready for use. In my opinion, these updates demonstrate that the seller has continued to care for the vehicle rather than simply storing it away. What I particularly like about this Thunderbird is that it appears to be a complete package. It combines attractive styling, luxury features, strong mechanical condition, and originality in a way that many classic cars struggle to achieve. It seems equally capable of attending a car show, taking a weekend road trip, or simply cruising comfortably on a sunny afternoon. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford Thunderbird represents one of the better values in the classic luxury car market. With its rust-free California heritage, smooth-running 390 V8, factory air conditioning, functioning accessories, and highly preserved condition, it offers a refined and authentic vintage driving experience. For enthusiasts who appreciate classic American luxury with timeless styling, this Thunderbird appears to be a standout example that is ready to be enjoyed immediately. Number 11, 1968 Pontiac Firebird Coupe, offered at $25,000 and currently located in Williamsburg, Iowa. In my opinion, this 1968 Pontiac Firebird is one of those classic muscle cars that still manages to attract attention even when it's not in perfect condition. The first-generation Firebird has always had a strong following, and even in a more driver state like this, it still carries a lot of visual and mechanical appeal. What stands out immediately is the combination of a 350 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. While this isn't a high-strung performance build, in my opinion it represents the kind of reliable small block setup that made these cars so popular. It's simple, proven, and easy to maintain, which is often exactly what buyers want in a classic cruiser. The seller mentions that the engine has a mild cam and cherry bomb exhaust. Personally, I think that adds a bit of character to the car without going overboard. It gives the Firebird a more aggressive sound and feel while still keeping the overall setup relatively straightforward. Visually, the orange exterior paired with a black interior is a classic muscle car combination. In my opinion, that kind of color contrast really fits the Firebird's sporty personality and helps it stand out, even if the paint and finish aren't perfect. Another detail I find important is that the car was reportedly rebuilt a few years ago but hasn't been driven much since. That usually suggests the car is mechanically functional but may need some light refreshing or sorting out due to sitting, which is common with many weekend classics. The seller is also very clear that the car needs some TLC. In my opinion, that honesty is actually helpful because it sets realistic expectations. This doesn't appear to be a fully restored showpiece, but rather a usable classic that still requires attention in certain areas. What I like most about this listing is that it seems to offer a fairly straightforward entry into first-generation Firebird ownership. It has the right engine, the right look, and the right sound, even if it isn't a perfect example. Overall, my opinion is that this 1968 Pontiac Firebird coupe would suit someone who wants a classic muscle car they can gradually improve over time. With its 350 V8, mild cam setup, and strong styling, it appears to be a driver-focused classic that still delivers the essence of Pontiac performance without requiring a full restoration up front. Number 12. 1984 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 Coupe, offered at $7,500 and currently located in Paw Paw, Illinois. In my opinion, this 1984 Camaro Z28 stands out as a budget-friendly performance project that already has many of the expensive mechanical upgrades completed. While third-generation Camaros are sometimes overlooked compared to earlier muscle cars, they have been gaining appreciation among enthusiasts who enjoy affordable V8-powered classics with strong aftermarket support and modernized drivability. The most notable feature is the recently built 355 cubic inch small-block Chevy engine equipped with Holley Sniper fuel injection and a Hyperspark ignition system. This is a significant upgrade over the original carbureted setup and should provide improved cold starts, throttle response, and overall reliability. Fuel injection systems like the Sniper also make the car more usable in different weather conditions and reduce the tuning issues commonly associated with older carburetors. According to the seller, the drivetrain has also received attention, with the transmission reportedly gone through by a previous owner and the clutch described as being in good shape. These details suggest that the car is set up to be driven rather than stored, which is reinforced by the statement that it runs and drives well. Another strong point is the extensive list of recent maintenance and restoration work. The car has new brakes all around, along with front wheel bearings and rear axle bearings and seals. These are important safety and reliability items, and having them already addressed adds value for a potential buyer. The interior has also been improved with new carpet and kill mat sound deadening material, which should help reduce road noise and improve overall cabin comfort. The seller also notes that all weather stripping has been replaced, which is a particularly useful upgrade for a T-top Camaro. Proper sealing is essential in these cars to prevent water leaks, so this work suggests attention was paid to making the vehicle more usable as a daily driver or weekend cruiser. However, it is also stated that the car does not get driven in the rain, which may indicate that it is still treated with some care despite the upgrades. Cosmetically, the car is described as not perfect but in very nice overall condition. This suggests a driver-quality vehicle rather than a show car, which aligns well with its price point. The interior color and exterior brown finish may not be the most popular combination among collectors, but it does reflect the period-correct styling trends of the early 1980s. One of the few noted issues is the lack of a functioning gauge cluster. However, the seller mentions that all critical information can still be monitored through the Holley Sniper application, which is a modern workaround but still something a buyer may eventually want to correct for a more complete interior experience. At an asking price of $7,500, I think this Camaro represents strong value for someone looking for a running and driving V8 classic with significant performance upgrades already completed. Third-generation Z28s are still relatively affordable compared to earlier muscle cars, but prices have been slowly increasing as clean examples become harder to find. The combination of fuel injection, a built 355 engine, and recent mechanical work makes this particular example especially interesting in its price range. Overall, I believe this 1984 Camaro Z28 is best suited for a buyer who values performance modifications and usability over originality. It may not be a collector-grade car, but it offers a solid foundation for a fun, fast, and relatively modern-feeling classic that can be enjoyed immediately without major additional investment. Number 13. 1984 Chevrolet Monte Carlo LS Coupe, offered at $11,995 and currently located in MT Prospect, Illinois. In my opinion, this Monte Carlo sits in that interesting middle ground between a classic cruiser and an emerging modern collectible. The G-body platform has gained a lot more appreciation in recent years, largely because it represents the last era of rear-wheel drive, V8 friendly American coupes before front-wheel drive became the norm in many GM lines. While the Monte Carlo LS is not the high-performance SS model, it still carries the same overall body style that enthusiasts recognize immediately. One of the strongest points in this listing is the one-owner history. In my opinion, ownership consistency is one of the most underrated factors in classic and future classic cars. A single-owner vehicle often suggests the car has been maintained with a certain level of care and familiarity over its life, rather than being passed around and modified repeatedly. The mileage is also relatively low at just over 75,000 miles for a 1984 vehicle. While mileage alone does not determine condition, it does suggest that the car has not been heavily used compared to many surviving examples of this era, many of which have far higher odometer readings or have suffered neglect over time. Mechanically, the presence of an Edelbrock 650 CFM carburetor is a notable upgrade. In my opinion, this indicates that the engine has likely been tuned for improved performance or drivability compared to a stock setup. Edelbrock carburetors are widely used in classic V8 builds because they are relatively simple to tune and maintain, and they tend to improve throttle response when properly set up. The addition of a K&N air filter housing also supports the idea that this car has been lightly modified for improved engine breathing and performance. While these are not extreme modifications, they do suggest that the owner was interested in enhancing the car's driving experience without drastically altering its original character. Cosmetically, the new vinyl top is an important detail. On G-body Monte Carlos, vinyl tops are a defining styling element, but they are also prone to wear and deterioration over time. A fresh vinyl top improves both appearance and protection, and in my opinion it adds immediate visual value to the car. The interior is described as clean, and the fact that heat is working is a simple but important usability factor. Many older cars develop minor electrical or HVAC issues over time, so having basic systems functioning properly makes the vehicle more practical for regular use. The addition of a modern sound system and Bluetooth capability is another practical upgrade. While purists may prefer a completely stock interior, many owners appreciate having modern audio connectivity in a classic vehicle. In this case, it likely increases day-to-day enjoyment without significantly detracting from the car's overall character. The new battery and alternator are also positive signs. These are essential reliability components, and their replacement suggests that the vehicle has been at least partially refreshed to remain roadworthy. At an asking price of $11,995, this Monte Carlo LS appears to be positioned as an accessible entry into the classic or near-classic car market. While it does not have the performance pedigree of an SS model, it offers a recognizable design, V8-era heritage, and enough upgrades to make it a comfortable and usable cruiser. Overall, my opinion is that this 1984 Chevrolet Monte Carlo LS represents a solid, budget-friendly classic cruiser with mild performance and convenience upgrades. The one-owner history, relatively low mileage, refreshed vinyl top, and tasteful mechanical and comfort modifications make it a car that seems more focused on enjoyment than preservation. For someone looking for an affordable way into G-body ownership, this Monte Carlo appears to be a sensible and enjoyable option. Number 14, 1970 Cadillac DeVille Coupe 2D, offered at $16,950 and currently located in Glenwood, Iowa. From my perspective, this is a very classic example of early 1970s American luxury in its original, unmodified form. The Cadillac Coupe DeVille represents a time when size, comfort, and presence mattered more than efficiency or performance, and even today it still carries that unmistakable road presence. The first thing that stands out is the condition description. The seller notes that the body is solid and retains most of its original paint. Personally, I find that especially important with Cadillacs of this era. Preserving original paint, even if it shows age, often tells a more honest story than a fully repainted restoration. The reported 82,000 miles also places this car in a reasonable range for a vehicle of this age. While mileage alone doesn't define condition, it does suggest the car hasn't been excessively worn down by heavy use, especially considering the seller's claim that it has been in the same family lineage since 1987. One of the strongest points of this listing, in my opinion, is that the car is described as fully functional in key areas. Working lights, operational window motors, and a functioning power seat indicate that the electrical and comfort systems, often problematic in older luxury cars, are still intact. That alone adds meaningful value for a cruiser of this size and age. I also like that the seller mentions the car runs excellent. While that's a simple statement, in the context of a big Cadillac like this, it usually means the drivetrain is currently usable without immediate major mechanical intervention. These cars are known for smooth, quiet operation when properly maintained, especially with their large displacement V8 engines. Stylistically, the 1970 Coupe de Ville is one of the more elegant versions of the Cadillac design language. The long body, formal roofline, and chrome accents give it a very commanding presence on the road. In gold, as described, it likely has a very period-correct luxury appearance that fits the early 1970s aesthetic. The seller's honesty about future modification plans is also interesting. They mention possibly installing air ride and upgrading the wheels and tires. Personally, I think that's a double-edged idea. Air suspension can enhance ride quality and stance, but it can also move the car away from its original character. Given that this example still retains much of its originality, I can understand why some enthusiasts would prefer to keep it stock. What I find most appealing here is the balance between originality and usability. This doesn't sound like a fully restored show car or a neglected project. Instead, it appears to be a preserved driver-quality Cadillac that can still be enjoyed on the road without immediate restoration work. At $16,950, I think it sits in a reasonable range for a running, mostly original full-size Cadillac coupe. It won't have the performance appeal of muscle cars from the same era, but that was never the point of the Coupe de Ville. Its value lies in comfort, presence, and cruising experience. Overall, my opinion is that this 1970 Cadillac de Ville offers a strong example of classic American luxury that remains usable and largely original. With functioning power features, solid body condition, and a running drivetrain, it appears to be a well-preserved cruiser that can be enjoyed immediately while still offering room for future customization or restoration decisions depending on the next owner's vision. For someone who appreciates large vintage Cadillacs and wants a relaxed, stylish highway cruiser, this example is a very solid candidate worth serious consideration. Number 15. This 1991 Cadillac Eldorado, listed at $1,000 and located in Matthews, Indiana, is a classic American luxury coupe that still shows strong potential despite needing mechanical attention. With 91,000 miles, a clean body, and a well-kept interior, this Eldorado represents one of those Grand Monde style cars that often survived with better care than typical daily drivers of the era. In my opinion, the most appealing aspect of this car is its overall condition relative to its price. Even though it is currently not running properly, the seller describes it as a super solid car, and notes that the body is very clean with an excellent underside. For a 1990s Cadillac, that alone is a strong foundation because rust and structural wear can quickly make these cars uneconomical to repair. The 4.9-liter V8 engine is a key part of this Eldorado's identity. In my opinion, this engine is often underrated. It was designed for smooth, comfortable power delivery rather than performance, which fits perfectly with the Cadillac luxury driving experience. However, as the seller mentions, the fuel injection system likely needs attention, along with basic ignition components such as plugs and a distributor cap. One of the more encouraging signs is that the car was recently driven onto and off a trailer. That suggests the engine is not completely dead and that the core mechanical systems still have life left in them. In my opinion, this places the car in the revivable category rather than a full restoration or parts-only situation. The interior is described as lovely, which is an important detail for a Cadillac of this era. Eldorados were known for their comfort-focused cabins, and a well-preserved interior significantly enhances both value and enjoyment. In many cases, interior restoration costs can exceed mechanical repairs, so having a good cabin is a real advantage. Another positive point is the set of 4 nearly new tires. While simple, this detail shows that at least some maintenance was invested in the vehicle relatively recently. Combined with the clean body and solid underside, it suggests that the car was not neglected for its entire life, even if it has been sitting more recently. The main issues appear to be fuel system-related running problems and weak brakes. In my opinion, both of these are common issues in older vehicles that have been parked for extended periods. While they should not be underestimated, they are also typically more straightforward to diagnose and repair compared to major engine or transmission failures. What I find interesting about this Eldorado is its potential versus condition balance. It is not a ready-to-drive classic, but it is also not a complete wreck. Instead, it sits in that middle ground where a relatively low investment could potentially return it to usable condition, especially for someone with basic mechanical knowledge. If I were evaluating this car, I would see it as a budget luxury project. It offers classic Cadillac styling, a comfortable interior, and a smooth V8 platform, all for a very low entry price. The trade-off is that it requires immediate mechanical attention before it can be safely driven again. In my opinion, this 1991 Cadillac Eldorado is a solid candidate for someone looking for an inexpensive entry into classic luxury car ownership. With its clean body, decent interior, and reparable mechanical issues, it has the foundation of a comfortable cruiser waiting to be brought back to life with some time and effort.